Hello everyone, welcome to another real world use case of Flow Designer. This is the video number 5 of a real world use case. If you want to check out the previous videos, the link is in the description to my playlist and you will find the basics of Flow Designer as well as real world use cases. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Hardit Singh and if you are liking my content, please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to hit that like button. So let's quickly jump into the agenda. So we will be building a real world use case where I need a catalog item for the ServiceNow admin to create new users for third party consultants. So this is where the ServiceNow admin will be creating users manually if a request comes to him manually, and then he can go and create new users. He can delegate this functionality by providing the access to the catalog item to anyone he wants. So we are not focusing on that. Our focus is on the Flow Designer. So what should the Flow Designer exactly do is Flow Designer creates a new user. So we know the name of the user table is sys_user. So we will be creating a new user there. Flow Designer creates data from variables on the catalog item. So we will have a catalog item and we will have few variables in that. For example, user ID, first name, last name and company name. And from company name, we will be associating a user group. We'll see that in a second. Flow Designer checks password need reset for the new user record. And we need to ensure as soon as the new record is created and the user logs in for the first time, he should reset his password. Next is Flow Designer adds user to the correct assignment group. So how we will be doing this is we will be storing a system property which will have the mapping between the company and the assignment group name. And I will be showing you that on my ServiceNow instance. So in that mapping, for example, if I select company name in the form as Acer, then the assignment group should be database. So that means when the user is created, the user should be automatically added to that group. Send a welcome email to the user. So we can send a simple email to the user. It's up to us. How do we send that? And close the rhythm after the successful completion. So we want to fulfill that request automatically. Admin or some user submits that request. It creates the user, it adds to the assignment group and it should close automatically. So that's automation. The logic or flow of this use case would be user submits the catalog item and when he submits it, the Flow Designer creates a new user record and that Flow Designer calls action to fetch mappings from system properties. So in system properties, we will be storing the mappings which I will show you in a minute, and the custom action will fetch those mappings and assign that user to that particular group. After this, Flow Designer creates a new record in the user group member table. So this is the table where the relationship between the user and the group is stored. So we need to create a record here as well. And finally, Flow Designer closes the rhythm. If you understood this use case and you have went through all my videos of Flow Designer, you have covered the basics of Flow Designer, I highly recommend you to pause the video here, go to your personal instance, try to create this on your own. Come back to my video and see how I have done it and check whether have we done it in the same way or not. And if you have implemented it in a better way, please let me know in the comments. So let's quickly jump to ServiceNow. I'm in my ServiceNow instance. First of all, I will go and show you the system property which I have created to store the mapping between the assignment group and the company name. So it's up to us how do you want to do it. So whether you want to go ahead and create a table for the mapping, because the tables are paid in actual ServiceNow instance, so I didn't use those. So instead I used system properties. So I have named the system property as company user mapping. Again, it's up to you how do you want to do that. So I have used the JSON object here. So for example, you see if somebody selected Acer, the assignment group would be database. If they selected the company as 3Com, it would be hardware, Acme Americas, then it would be network and so on. So if you are doing it in the real world, you can get this mapping from your customers and then create a JSON object of this and then go ahead and create this system property. Also, if you want to provide more functionality to your users that they can go ahead and make the changes themselves, then you can go ahead and create table and give access to them and then they can go ahead and do that. But it leads to data integrity issues because then they can change anyone's record as well. So you need to take care of that as well. And if you want to learn about JSON object, how it works, how can we fetch the values, I have a detailed value of JSON objects on my YouTube channel. The link is on the top right corner and in the description as well. After this, let's go and see the catalog item which I have created. So I will go to maintain items. And if you see, I have already created a catalog item called manual user creation, and it's under service catalog and can we help you. If I scroll down to the bottom, you would see I have created 5 variables and there are no UI policies and there are no client scripts. It's just plain catalog item. If you want to learn more about catalogs in ServiceNow, the link is on the top right corner. The 5 variables are: first is the user ID, which is of single line text, first name, last name, all of them are single line text. The email is of type email, and finally the company name. So this is a reference field where I have referred to the core underscore company table. So this is the table out of the box given by ServiceNow to store all the company names. So if you have third party vendors, you can go ahead and create their records here. So if I scroll down here and see the type specifications, you can see core underscore company. I'll just quickly give you an overview of this table. So let's go to this table and you can see all the third party companies are created here. 3Com, Acer, Acme China, Amazon, APC, Apple, I think Samsung would also be there, and so on. And now we will go to our favorite part now, that is the flow designer, and we will create a flow designer for this. So I will take you step by step of creating the flow designer as well as the action. I will click on create new and flow. And I will give a name, for example, manual user creation FD. So that's flow designer, and I will make it as system user, and I will go ahead and submit this. Once the flow is created, I will add the trigger and I will search for service catalog and select this, and I will click on done. After this, I will click on action and I will search for get catalog variables, and I will be getting all the variables which would be declared in there. I will drag and drop this rhythm record and I will search for my catalog item. So that's manual user creation, and you see all the variables, all those 5 variables are shown here. I will just drag and drop them to the right hand side. I will click on done. After this, the next step would be creating that user. I will click on again this action. I will search for create record. Let's select this create record, and if you know, the name of the table for the user is sys underscore user table, sys underscore user, and I will select this, and I need all the fields to be created which were on the variable section. I will go ahead and find those fields on the table first. So the first one is user ID. I will drag and drop it from the right hand side from step number 1, get catalog variables. So user underscore ID, and then I will select first name. I will drag and drop first name, then last name. I will drag and drop this last name. I will select email. I will drag and drop email, and I will leave the company name because we will be using it for mapping it to the assignment group. I'll click on done. After this user record is created, next step is to add this user to the proper assignment group according to the company which would have been selected on the catalog item. I will first save this flow, and for fetching that mapping I will use an action because it requires some sort of scripting. I will click on plus here and then click on action to add a new action, and I can maybe say manual user creation custom action, and I will submit this. We will give an input to this action. I will just move this and I will create input, and I can give the company sys ID here, company sys ID, and I will make the type as sys ID. So we will be getting the sys ID of that company from the main flow to this action, from where we can fetch the name of the company. I will make it as mandatory, so it's up to you if you want to make it mandatory or not. I will save this action. After this, I will add a script by clicking on the plus sign here and search script. I'll add this script, and then we will have to give again the input on this script. So I will be again giving that sys ID. So company sys ID input. And for the value, I will drag and drop this from the right hand side from data. So I will be using the main input of our action. I will drag and drop this here. I will save it again. I'll just hide this again for a minute. And if you go to the script, first of all, using the sys ID of the company, we would find the name of the company because in the system property, we have the company name and the assignment group name. So we have to find the name of that company. For that, I will write where gr company equals to new glide record, and I will give the name of the table as core underscore company, After this, gr company dot add query. So in the query, I will give sys underscore id. So we are getting the sys id of the company from the main flow. So I will be using it to find the record in the core underscore company table. For that, I will use inputs dot, and then I will get the name of the variable from here. I'll just copy and paste it here, and then I will close this. Then I will again use this variable dot query and dot next, and maybe we can put an if here. So if, and then we would declare a variable to store the company name. So where company name, I will use this variable here. Company name equals to gr company dot name. So that's the name of the field in the core underscore company table. So that's the backend name. If you are aware of Glide records, you would know this. Please refer to my video if you don't know about Glide records in the description, because that's the essential part of scripting. After we have got the company name, we would have to find the mapping in the JSON object in the system property. Before that, I will make it to string as well, just on a safer side. Now next step would be getting that system property, where company mapping equals to gs dot get property, and then I will give the property name here, which I can go and find it in the system properties. So I will just go ahead and search for that again. I'll copy it from here and paste it in my flow designer. So this will give me the value of this property. And now we will find the key to this object, and then we will retrieve the value of that key. So it's a key value pair in the object. But before doing that, we have to parse this JSON object. For that, I will create another variable and say company parse maybe, and then JSON dot parse, and then I will give the mapping here. So I will copy and paste this variable, and now our JSON object has been parsed. Next is to fetch the value of the company name. So to fetch that value, I will again create a variable, and I can say the assignment group name here. So assignment group name equals to company parse, and then I will give the name of the company in the brackets. So that's company name. Now after parsing this object and passing this value here, I will get that particular mapping of the company name, and I will get the value of that. I will go ahead and save this script. Now the final piece to this is getting that assignment group sys id, because we would want to pass the sys id of that assignment group. We will go ahead and find the value of that sys id. So I will use grasg, maybe the variable name, and glide record, and I will use sys underscore user underscore group. So this is the assignment group table name, and after this I will add a query dot add query, and I will use the name, and then this variable assignment group name glide record dot set limit. So I want to just get one value, so I will set the limit as 1, and then I will glide record dot query, and if gr dot next, and finally I will get the sys id of this assignment group. For that, I will have to store that it in a variable in the output, so that I can pass it out of this script to the main action. For that, I will scroll down at the bottom, and I will create a variable, and maybe the name of the variable could be asg underscore sys id. I will make the type again as sys id. So we are using all the sys ids in inputs and outputs just for your reference. I will make this as mandatory. I will copy the name here, and I will scroll up, and I will give here outputs dot the output variable name, and then I will use this glide record grasg, and I will get the sys id dot sys underscore id. I will go ahead and save this again. Now I have passed the output of the script. Now I would want to pass the output of the script to the output of this action. I will click on the outputs of the action. I will create output, and here again I have to give the name of the output variable on the custom action. I can give the name as assignment group sys id. I will change again it to sys id, make this as mandatory. I will change the name here. It did not change automatically. This is saved now. I will exit the edit mode. And now I have to give the value of this output which we just created. I will scroll down at the bottom and you would see in the script step we have an output of ASD sysID which we created in the script step. So I will drag and drop that here and I will publish this custom action. Our custom action is ready now. It will take an input of the company sysID and it will give the output of the assignment group sysID, and it will be using the mapping which we had defined in the system property. I will go back to the flow. Next, we will run our custom action from the flow. For that, I will select add action and search the name of my custom action. So manual user creation, and I will press enter and you can see we have found that, and I will select this and I will give the company sysID here because that's the mandatory input and you can see it in a red star. To give the company sysID, again I will go to the get catalog variables under that company name and I will expand this and I will try to find sysID. Once I have found the sysID, I will just drag and drop that value. I will click on done and now this action will return me the assignment group sysID, which you can see under step 3, assignment group sysID. So this is the output which we had created in the custom action. So the main custom action, not the script. Next, step number 4 would be to create a new record in the user group member table. So that's the table where the mapping between the user and the group is stored. I will select action. I will again search for create record and I will find the name of the table. The name of the table is sys underscore user underscore gr member. I will select this and we have to give two important values. The first one is the user. So the user would be the one which we just created in step number 2. So here I will just drag and drop this user record. In the next step, I will select the group. So that's the group name. We will pass the sysID of that the group which we will get from the custom action, and I will drag and drop assignment group sysID from here, and that's done. And in step number 5, we have to send an email to the user as well. So I will select action and I will find send email. I will select this. It is asking me for the target record. I will go ahead and give the rhythm record here. And after this, I will give the 2. So I can find the email from the catalog variables. I will drag and drop this here. Alternatively, I can also find it from the user record which we just created. We can expand it and find the email and drag and drop that, but the both values would be same. After this, I can say welcome to my company and we can give some body of the email, for example, hi. Again, maybe I will copy this welcome to my company and thanks. So you can add more details if you want. And finally, if you remember on our PPT, we had to close the rhythm as well automatically. So the final step would be updating the rhythm record. I will select action. I will find the action name called update record. I will drag and drop the requested item record. That's the rhythm record. And in the fields, I will select two fields here. So the first one is stage fulfillment. I will select this fulfillment, and the next one I would select is state and I will make this as closed complete, and the request would be automatically closed. We will just go through all the steps again. In step number 1, we are finding all the variables which were declared on the catalog item. In step number 2, we are creating a user record in the users table. In step number 3, we are calling the custom action which we had created here, which has a script to fetch the mappings between company and the assignment group, and it is returning us the assignment group sysID. In next step, we will be using that assignment group sysID to create a group member record in sys underscore user underscore gr member table. After that, we are sending a welcome email, and finally we are closing the rhythm record. I will go ahead and activate this flow. After this flow is activated, I will just copy the name of this flow and go to my catalog item. In the catalog item under process engine, I will give the name of the new flow which I had just created. So I will just select this and save. After I have saved this, I will click on try it and we can now give the values of those variables. So for example, I will create a new user ID for myself. So Hardit Singh, give the first name as Hardit and the last name as Singh, and maybe the email as harditsingh@xyz.com, and give the company name as Acer. If I go back to my system properties and go here, and under this you would see Acer should be mapped to database. As soon as I submit this request and the flow designer runs, I should be automatically added to the database group. I will click on order now. I will go to the request and I will go to the rhythm record, and you can see the stage has been set to fulfillment and the state is closed complete, and a new user should have been created with the user ID Hardit Singh. So I will go to the sys underscore user table to check that whether it has been created or not. So you can see it at the top already. The user ID is Hardit Singh, the first name and the last name and the email, everything is matching. One thing which we did not do is password needs reset. We will do it in a second again. And I will go ahead and see if I have been added to database group. So you can see at the bottom I have been added to the database group. So if I click on this group and go to group members, you would see my name at the bottom, Hardit Singh. After this, we have to check the outbox to see whether the welcome email was sent out or not. If you see the third email here, it was sent 2 minutes ago and the subject was welcome to my company, and this is the body of the email which we had sent. So you can click on preview email under related links to see that email as well. Hi, welcome to my company, and this is the watermark. Now finally, again I have to make one change to the flow designer, which is we had to set that password needs reset as true. So I will click on this create user record. I will add the value and I will select here password needs reset, and it came as a checkbox. So the data type of this variable or this field in the table is boolean, so we can set it to true or false. I will select it as true and I will click on done and activate, and next time a user is created it would be activated by default. I hope this interesting use case was very helpful for you to have a deeper understanding of flow designer and actions. If you are liking my content, please subscribe to my channel for similar videos like this, and I always keep posting videos on the latest features of ServiceNow and as well as other features of ServiceNow, and don't forget to follow me on LinkedIn as well. Thanks for watching the video.